RozelleTV. I'm here today with Marli Callow from HoneyTusk Eyebrows. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
It's a pleasure. And now before we get around to your business, can you tell us a little bit about maybe where you grew up?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Hills district, so out in Newcastle Hill, Borkham Hills, out that way.
Right.
And then I moved to the inner west when I was 18.
Right.
And I've been here ever since.
I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So you're a Sydney girl?
Yes, always been Sydney girl.
Fantastic, very good. Now tell me, how did you end up doing eyebrows? How did that all come about? What did you do after school, for example?
Yeah.
What was your first?
So I left school to do a beauty therapy apprenticeship, and then when I finished the apprenticeship, the majority of my clientele were brows. So after the 4 years, I went and worked in a brow-only studio, and she was sort of the original brow studio, just to see if I would like it and if I could handle doing brows all day. And then from there, I went to London and worked in brow studios in London, and came back.
So how long were you in London?
I was in London for a year all up, and I worked as a brow artist for about 4 months of that year.
So was that a kind of a semi-backpacker, the Aussie kind of inaugural trip to kind of...
Yeah, it was, but over in London, brow studios are really big. Most places like your Topshop and they'll all have brow studios.
Right,
so that's why I went over there mainly.
Fantastic, very good. So,
and a little bit of travel.
Which
you have to do.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So did you get to Europe and
I did, like yeah, I did.
Very good.
Hence the 4 months working and the rest of the year travelling.
Right, okay. So that's puts it in more perspective. 4 months working, right, okay. Fantastic. Now tell me, when did you start up your own business?
So I started HoneyTusk in August last year, it's still quite new.
Yes.
We're coming up to our first birthday, which is really exciting, and basically wanted to be able to use the skills that I had in a studio the way I wanted the studio to run.
Okay,
so
very good.
Then HoneyTusk started.
Very good, fantastic. Now tell me this, do you get many men coming in to get their eyebrows done?
I would say at the moment it's about 30% of my clientele is men,
really?
And that's pretty good. When I worked in the studio on the eastern suburbs, you would have gotten 50-50.
Right, okay.
It's just a different dynamic over there, but here it's about 70-30, which I'm pretty happy with.
That's very, so are you kind of saying the men in the inner west, Rozelle, are a little bit kind of slacker about their personal appearance, or? I
think they're more worried about coming out with really manicured brows. My male clientele, the technique that I use on their brows, you wouldn't be able to tell they have their brows done.
Okay.
But I think men are worried that having them done means that they're going to come out with brows like mine, and it's completely different. For men, it's really just about keeping them manicured and not having them grow down to meet their eyelashes, really.
Right, yes. Very good. And tell me, why do women get it done? I mean, that's an obvious question in one sense, but I think there's a lot more to this. Is there, what does it actually say about women? What are they trying to say? Maybe is a better question.
Gosh, where do I start? So, brow sculpting has been going on for hundreds of years, back to when Cleopatra was doing her own brows, and it really depends on the individual person, what they want to get out of it. I think some women do it for the cleanliness and the hygiene and having fresh looking brows. Other women do it, it can actually give you a younger appearance to your face by having your brows manicured.
Right.
Some people just do it because it's what everyone else is doing.
Sure.
I personally do it because it does change the entire look of your face. So when done correctly, it can make you look so much younger, so much fresher. It's like having a semi-Botox, I think.
Maybe I should try it. Maybe. And so tell me, do you ever kind of get a request from something you think that's a bit odd, like they're changing the colours or something that you go, look, it's probably not going to work for you. It's actually going to not help, or
every brow artist, I think, is really different in their techniques. So not everyone's going to like the way you do it, and everyone does have different ideas. But when someone does come to me and say, you know, I want to shave my brows off, which it has happened.
Right,
Someone has come up to me and asked me to wax their brows off. I will normally advise against something like that.
Right.
I will give my professional opinion, and then it's up to, at the end of the day, it's their brows, and
of course
there's not much I can do.
And so if they were to have them waxed off completely, but does that mean...
Sounds quite odd, doesn't it?
It does, but then does it mean they'd put a colour back or something? So
this
okay.
particular person was wanting them taken off completely so that she could pencil them.
Right, okay.
So it's not ideal going to a brow artist to have them just completely taken off, but that was her personal decision.
Sure. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Well, it is, but it's very easy to become maybe flippant about this, but it's actually quite a very personal thing that happens, no?
Yes. And, you know, even since I've started the studio, I see people walking past and say brow studio, or how do you make money doing brows all day? But I really think it's gotten to the point where a lot of people are just so tired of having their brows ruined.
Right.
Know what their brows should look like.
Yes.
And want someone that does it all day, every day, and is...
Okay, so when you say ruined, maybe they've gone to the hairdresser or something, and the hairdresser, like part of the service, might add in brows, but and it's just not a brow art. What do you call it? A brow artist?
I would say a brow artist.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, you know, going somewhere where they are dedicated and they love what they do.
Yes.
Some places, or you know, they do such a huge selection. They might not always be happy doing brows, so you're not going to get the best result.
Right.
Whereas when you're going to someone that's dedicated, it's like, you know, it's a difference between going and seeing a GP and a specialist for something in particular that you want.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense to me. Now, tell me, you're running a bit of a special on at the moment as well, are you? Can you send that to our
very exciting special
TV spectators as well, or viewers at least?
So the studio's turning 1 at the end of August.
Yes. And
we are doing a huge giveaway. So if you come into the studio and then you refer a friend, you'll go into the draw to win half a year of free brow sculpting.
Fantastic.
So we thought we would start our first year with a really big bang.
Yes.
And I think half a year of brow sculpting is a pretty good way to start the year.
Indeed.
And we're going to be having cake every day for the week, which I'm more excited about than anything else for the birthday. We're doing cake all week.
Fantastic. Now, Marli, if anybody wants to get in contact with you, how do they do that? How can they get a phone number? Or?
So you can book at the studio 4 different ways. You can either book via our Facebook page.
Yes.
You can. We have an online booking tab on our website.
And your website address
is www.honeytusk.com.
Fantastic.
You can book via the phone. You
Yes.
can give us a call, or you can pop into the studio.
What's your phone number?
The studio phone number is 9810
Yes.
8335.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.